Well, I was playing around with my table saw to make some decorative splines, and I came up with this, and I thought it looked kind of neat. So what I'm going to do is show you how I made them and show you the jig that I used. So here's the jig that I used to make these splines. I'll show you how I made this jig and how I put everything together. The first part of this jig is to make this block. And I found this piece of scrap. I will just cut this to the right length. The block of wood I'm using comes from an old crate, and it has this notch in here. But what I'm going to do is cut a V so you won't even see it. To make the runner, I'll just be using a piece of hardwood. It'll fit in the slot. I've measured it, set the fence, and hopefully it will fit. I've just cut a small piece off on the bandsaw to see where I'm at, and it's not bad. I think I'll make it a tiny bit bigger. I'm ready to attach the runner to the block, and I thought I would try a different way this time. I usually do it all within the table saw in the miter slot, but I'm going to try this way and use a speed square, and I can adjust it till I get my 90 degrees. So I think this way will work pretty good. Just double check it. And it looks really good. On my prototype jig, I never used a stop block. I just marked where I wanted to cut it, held it, and cut it. It was a little bit trickier, but this time what I'm going to do is make a small stop block. So I cut 3 small pieces of plywood, and I'm going to put this one on top. Here I've added 2 screws on my block. This one will be to lock it in, and this will be a fine adjustment screw. So I made those 2 knobs just with a lag bolt and a small disc I cut with the hole saw. I just took the clamp off and my box is ready to be put in the jig. Now the jig, I will show you a few things. This will clamp it so you can lock it in. And this one I drew a mark here, and 2 rotations of this is the thickness of the saw blade. And I drew some lines on the block and some lines here to where I want to cut it. Now I just locked it to the marks that I have on the box, and I'm ready to make my first cut. Now that I have the box all cleaned up, I can cut more splines. So I'll cut the splines within the splines that are already made, and I've set the blade height and adjusted the jig. So this is probably one of my favorite jigs now. I like it because I can do a lot with it, and it's very small, so it's easy to store. And my boxes, they turn out quite nice. I made two, you can see the two different designs. I like this one better. And I'm just gonna keep these for the workshop anyways, for some tools or some parts. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.